Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions, and this is our webinar on Oracle Fusion Fixed Assets. We have already seen the required configurations for the fixed assets. In yesterday's session, we have seen how the transactions are uploaded, like adding any assets and how we add assets manually and through spreadsheets. Then we have seen the mass addition, split and merge as asset lines through Oracle payable application, and then drilling down from fixed assets to payables and transaction uploaded. So today we will be moving further from that. Today our topic will be to see the mass copy. These are various concepts that we'll be covering. So mass copy is when we copy the assets from our corporate book to the tax book. We have seen how to create the corporate book and tax book. We create the assets in the corporate book and then we can transfer them to our textbooks. So how that thing is done, that we will see. Then in depreciation, we can see the what if analysis, what if depreciation analysis, that we will be covering today, and the various concepts like asset retirement, its reinstatement, impairment, revaluation, transferring asset, how these concepts are managed and what are these, that we will see in our today's session. So let's begin with mass copy first. So mass copy is a task through which we copy our assets from the corporate book to our textbook. Okay, so for that your user must have the access for both the corporate book and the textbook, and your the asset categories, whatever you want to have in means whatever asset which belong to a specific asset category, if you want them to be in your textbook, then those asset categories should be assigned to your textbook as well. And so there can be two types of mass copy. So first one is the initial mass copy, and the second one is periodic mass copy. So initial mass copy is when we are transferring our assets first time from our corporate book to the textbook, and here there is no period. We need not to mention any periods here, but periodic mass copy is a regular exercise where we copy the assets from our corporate book to the textbook for a specific period. Say in March month, I have added 10 of the assets to my corporate book. Then I can run a process through which those 10 books will be added to my tax books, or those assets that are relevant to a tax book will be added. So we will see in the instance how this is managed. So this is my user. I'll go to the asset workbench. We will see the periodic one and initial one both. Let me show you the task from where this is done. So first we will check the access our user is having for the fixed asset. Just let me move to the asset workbench. So this is my assets workbench. My period open is Jan period, and from here I can go to manage all books task, and here if you see the books that I am having the access are present: US Corp, US Federal, and US IES. So US Federal is my tax book. When I click on this, copy from corporate option is available. If I click on that, copy from corporate, my tax book name and the corporate book period is asked. When I click on submit, the mass copy will be submitted. Now for this period, my assets will be transferred to my tax book. But initially when we do this, when first time my tax book is created, or when the first time I'm moving my corporate books assets to my textbook, I go to tools, and from here to schedule new processes, I click on schedule new process, and here I'll search for the task perform initial mass copy. This copies assets from the corporate book to the current open period in a tax book. So it will not ask you any periods, it will just ask you the tax book. So these are the two tax book that I am having. So US Federal, and when I click on submit, this is the one we do for the initial. This error can be due to those incomplete assets which are present. So this is just the process I was telling you. So this is the first process that we have seen. Now if I go to navigator, yesterday we have seen how to add assets. If I want to see how we will run the depreciation, then again from my asset workbench, from this depreciation 1023 tab, we can select this, and if I click on calculate depreciation, then this will be calculating the draft depreciation and it will not close the period. But if I click here and click on close period, this will close the period and run the depreciation and calculate the lease expenses and all, and then the period, the Jan period will be closed. Then we cannot open this period again. So there are two ways of doing this. Either you can go to manage all books from here, and then you can click here and click on calculate depreciation. This will be calculating the depreciation, means this will be a draft mode, means the period will not be closed, just the depreciation will be calculated as the depreciation was submitted. Okay, I'll click on done. This will calculate the depreciation, and if I want to close the period, the Jan period, I will click on this drop down, and from here I'll click on close period. So it's saying the depreciation program will close the period and you cannot reopen it. If you want, you can click on yes. So asset depreciation was submitted. Now the process is running in the schedule processes. Once all your depreciation is calculated, or your lease expenses and all are calculated, your Jan period will be closed. As this is a practice instance and my instance is refreshed, so I am working on a different instance. So maybe there can be some errors due to which this is not being processed. So let's see if we can close this period. So then we will be working on Feb 23 period. Okay, so yeah, calculate depreciation gives error here. This is not closed for now. Okay. Let it be. So this is the process that I have shown you, how we can calculate the depreciation for this period. Now, if I have to do the what if analysis to forecast the depreciation for group of assets, then we can use what if depreciation analysis process. It can have different scenarios. The information is entered just for analysis purposes, and that will not affect your accounts details and all, assets details and all. It will not affect your Oracle assets data. Point to remember is this is just the estimates. This is not the actual depreciation. We need to take the note of the process ID when we run the what if depreciation, because we need to use it when we run the report. Analysis can be done for as many situations or scenarios as you like. Each time you run, a separate separate report is generated. You can project depreciation expenses for any depreciation book and for any number of period beginning from the starting period you enter as the parameter. So if we want to see the changes in the depreciation methods, or um, or we need to change the rate and all, then we can use this what if analysis report, and then we can download the report and see the effect on the asset. So let's navigate to this page again, the assets page. See, so the Jan period is now closed. We are in Feb period now. So if you go down here, no additions and retirements and all is available. We will be working in the Feb period today. And I'll run the perform what if analysis from journal area in the task list. I'll click on perform what is analysis. Here you need to provide the starting date. So starting date, if I take as August 22, currency USD dollar, number of periods say 8. So from August 22 till 8 periods this will run: August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. All the 8 periods it will be covering. Asset type we need to select. These are the fields which we need to provide, and based on this the analysis will be performed. So say if I take the asset at 112,644. Okay, this is one of the asset in our assets. Now these things I'm not providing. I'll for this asset, if I want to see what will be the effect of my depreciation method, I'll do the blank search. Let me search with STL. So there are too many methods. I will take STL 50 bonus depreciation, and means my system means my asset is not using the same depreciation method for now. But if I use this method, then what will be the effect? 3 years is the life. If I want to add the bonus rule, I can add prorate convention. If I add as cal daily, and I'll just click on submit here. Okay, 1110. I'll click on submit here. So this is my process ID which I will be requiring to run the report. Click on OK. Okay, now if I go to my schedule processes, so my process ID I need to provide. First, let's select our report name. So report name is what if depreciation analysis report. Okay. So book it is asking, US Corp we have provided, process ID it is asking, and it is saying delete analysis data. So I'll say no and I'll submit this. Okay, this is the process ID. See, this is succeeded. Prepare what if analysis date, and this is the report. So this way, based on your client's requirement, if means any asset is being used for a long time, now you have done the revaluation and you are changing now the depreciation method for that, then what will be the impact on the asset over a period of time that we can analyze without disturbing our historical data that is there in our system. It's taking too long. Just let this run. Let this run. Till then, we will come to our PPT and we'll see what are our next topic. So our next topic is the asset retirement. So when any asset is no longer in service because it has been stolen or lost or damaged or it is sold or returned, you can retire that asset from your Fusion application. The retirement can be completely if that whole asset is not in service now, or you can retire a part of that asset. So if only the part is not in use, you can retire the units. In that you have to specify the number of units that has been retired, and if the cost is retired, means on the value of cost a part has been retired, so you can mention that cost. And if you have sale a part of asset, then we can mention the proceed of sale, and the system will then calculate the loss or gain through it. So what does reinstatement means? If your asset is still in use and you have accidentally retired it, then you can reinstate that asset. So these are two small concepts. If our report is being generated, we can see, and then we will see the retirement. So the status is now succeeded. You can republish the report from here. Open file. So this is our result. So this is providing the details on the basis of which we have run the analysis. And this is our the analysis report, the the changes that will be occurring. So the normal depreciation for now is 4166.67, but if you apply this new depreciation based on this method STL 50B and Cal daily as your prorate convention, then these things will change in Feb and March details. As this asset is added in the Jan 23 month, so previous month's details has not been displayed by the system because the asset was not in use at that time. So hope you have understood the concept of what if analysis. And now moving to the retirement, I will go to my asset workbench again. The same asset for which we have done the what if analysis, we will retire this asset. This asset has been added in Jan 23 month. So you can see the transactions are available here from the task list. You need to select retire asset. US Corp asset number is 112644. Search. So this is the asset. If you want to see the details, you can click on this. So these are the details. The cost is 15 lakh. The net book value is this. The depreciation for Jan period has been applied. So this is our detail for this asset. Now let's retire this. So retire cost and retire units is the option. So we will click on retire cost. So you can retire the whole cost or a part of the cost, so that you can mention here. Means if you are selling a part of asset, we can use this part. Okay, retiring date we are selecting as 28th of Feb or any other date you can select from here. So let's select 10th of Feb. Cost retired, will not take the whole cost, we'll take 7 lakhs say. And proceed of sale we can provide if any proceed is there. So just click on submit. So once you have provided the detail, just click on done. Sorry, done. Here in the retirement section, this should come as one incomplete. I think as we have submitted it, it has been posted. I'll just go to inquire assets. If we would have save and close, then in the retirement section it should be coming as incomplete. But you see in recent retirements, we can see this asset has been retired. So now if I click on this asset number, the portion of depreciation has been linked to that portion, and the remaining is treated as the net book value. Now the cost which is remaining is the 8 lakh, as the whole asset was of 15 lakh. So this is how the depreciation is performed. You can check the details from here. Okay, now transaction details from here. So now if by mistake this has been done, then from the task list there is an option to reinstate the asset. Go to reinstate and search from our book. So this is the asset that has been retired. It is coming here. You can click on reinstate. Once you click on reinstate, this asset will now be again moved to the cost as 15 lakh because this has been reinstated. Now the retirement portion has been returned. So see, the two transactions are now coming. If I open this asset, the recoverable cost is again 15 lakh. Sorry. So the asset is now again again reinstated. Okay, in the Feb month. These are the two transactions that we have performed right now. Hope you have understood the understood how manually we can retire. Now we will see how using spreadsheet we can do this. Retire assets in spreadsheet. Transaction type we need to mention here: retirement, reinstatement, source line, retirement. So I'm taking retirement. Click on next. It will redirect you to the ADFDI file. Click on open file. Enable editing. Yes. Provide the credentials. Sign in. Here we need to just provide the transaction identification details. So I'll give test demo feb. Interface line number 1. Asset number I need to select from here. So asset number I'm giving is 11257. So there are too many assets here. I will select vehicle 112510 and the assignment details from here. Okay, click on OK. The details will be populated now here. So retirement date the system is asking to provide. So we will provide the retirement date as 1st of Feb. Cost retired we can provide, or if the unit is retiring then we can provide that detail. Any one detail you need to provide, the cost retired or the unit retired. So I will provide unit retired here as we have already seen the cost retirement part. Now these details are fine for me. Retirement reasons you can mention if it is sale or extraordinary. Retirement convention we need to mention, so I'll give as calculate month. This is the calendar that we have created, prorate convention. So this it is asking for from us to enter. And let's try to, so posting status here is new. So this should come in our incomplete status. That thing we'll see now. Upload. Okay. Yeah, so this row is inserted successfully. Let's see here. This should come in our retirement portion. Yeah, see, one incomplete because we have taken the queue as new and not the post. So here it is coming. Now, if you want to post this, go to unit retirement, click on unit retirement transaction. And check the details. If you want to add anything, you can add and just click on submit here. So now if I go to my asset inquiry, I'll take the asset number. and I'll search this asset number. I can search it from assets, or I can see this in the recent retirement. So you can see the whole cost is moved to 000 now because this asset we have retired. Now, if you go to the transactions, you can see the full retirement has been performed on 1st of Feb, the Feb period. If you want to reinstate, you can again download the Excel sheet and mention the task as reinstate, and then you can do this. So this is how we do in the spreadsheet. Means from the task, if I go to retired assets in spreadsheet, and now if I take the transaction type as reinstatement, and then I again go to next, and that Excel will be downloaded, and there we can reinstate this. So however, we have seen the basic functionality, how this works. And for mass, you can enter various details of the assets here, and then you can upload this file. So we have done, means we have seen for one of the asset. Likewise, we can do for many other. I'll close this. We have seen the retirement portion. Now moving to my presentation again. So impairment. Now, if an asset is impaired, so when we impair the asset, when our carrying amount of the asset exceeds its recoverable cost, means impairment can be a case when you are using an asset, but now its value has suddenly depleted, and now you cannot get the carrying amount if you sell that asset from in the market. Means say your asset is of 10 lakh, its carrying amount is 10 lakh, and if you go in and sell it in your market, then you are just getting 2 lakhs or 1 lakh for that asset. That means that asset is no longer effective to be used. Means you are using it, but you cannot get a market value which is expected out of it, because the asset is obsolete in the market, or the technology has ended. Likewise, so that can be the reason. So we need to reduce the cost of that, the carrying amount of that asset. So impairment we perform generally at the time of closing periods. So at each balance sheet date, you should assess whether an asset is impaired. If there is an indication the asset is impaired, you should estimate the recoverable amount of that asset. If the recoverable amount of that asset is less than its carrying amount, then you should reduce the carrying amount of that asset to its recoverable amount. And this reduction is called as your impairment loss. Before seeing how impairment is managed in your assets, we will check that is the impairment allowed in your asset books. So go to setup and maintenance. Set up financials, fixed assets, and manage asset books. US Corp was my book. Search it. It will provide this book name, US Corp. Here you should enable your impairment section. Allow impairment. This needs to be enabled. And for revaluation, these revaluation rules should be enabled. This we will be seeing in our next topic. So hence I am telling you this also here, as we have already come to this page. Sorry. So this allow revaluation shall be enabled. So for revaluation this is required, and for impairment this allow impairment is required. So just click on save and close. Now moving to the assets workbench. Go to the task list. Here you can see impair assets option. Now If you search, nothing is there. So what we do is we'll create and impair assets. So for our book US Corporation, we are creating an impairment. Click on next. So create impairment, click this file. Now it will again ask you to log in. Enable editing. Yes. KC. So this will connect us to our Oracle system. So book is USD Corp, currency USD, impairment type impairment. Okay, if you are reversing the impairment, you can use impairment reversal. This is, we are doing the impairment, so I am selecting impairment. Impairment date we need to provide. I'll take the impairment date as Feb 28. Okay. Transaction entry date is not required. We'll just mention the mandatory parts. Transaction group I'll take as test impair. Cash generating unit or asset number, one thing we need to provide, so we'll provide the asset number. Asset number I'll take as 112584. Sorry. LA hardware is there. So say this is no longer in use. I'll open this in my application also to see what all cost is there. So assets 112584. Search for the asset. We can see the details here. So the net book value for now is 6394.49. Okay, so we will say the impairment status is preview. Net selling price now I say is just $500 and value in use is 6394.49. So impairment loss the system will calculate. As there are 3 asterisks, any one field we could have provided. So these are the details provided by us. I'll just click on submit. Okay. So this row is inserted successfully. Process ID is provided here. If you want to see the impairment process, you can check if it has been succeeded or not. So now done. If I go to impair assets here, task impair asset, now you search for your book. So this preview fail is coming. Okay, as this is a new one, so I'll click on edit. It will take you to the spreadsheet again. I'll click on new, submit. Okay. Okay, I'll remove this impairment loss. This we haven't entered, but the system is picking it from the details. And I will also relate this value in use. Now seller, we try submitting. Let's see if this process is succeeded. Oh, some error is there. Okay, no details are coming. Let's move to the assets workbench. This process should succeed, only then your asset will be impaired. Let's try one more time to create with another asset. Let's close these files. Impairment date Feb 28. Okay. Asset, we'll take some other asset this time. Let's take the asset 112644. Impairment asset, it is providing only two options, so I'll take new. Net selling price I am taking as 1 lakh for this. Let's see if this works. Now the details are added. Let's click on submit. Okay. So this is the one test impair new that we have added. Now let's see the process is now completed or not. Then only that post option will be available for us. If this process is ending with error, then that post option will not be available. So here now it is succeeded. So maybe with that asset something is pending, hence it's not work. It didn't work. So in the assets, now if I go to impair assets, I'll search for my book US Corp, search. So this is my asset. Now I'll click on edit, open file, enable editing, connect. Now change this impairment status to previewed or previewed. Submit. Means this we have previewed. Okay, this is for LA hardware. Just a second. We are doing this for our asset, which is this. Edit, open file. We are doing this for demo asset and not the LA hardware. So again, this will be connecting. Yes. I don't know why it is taking us to LA hardware again. Let's just delete this entry. Delete. Now this is the one we are testing for. Edit, open file, enable editing. Instance is taking time to load. Yeah. Provide the credential. Sign in. Skip. Just here we need to mention preview, like if someone has posted your impairment and someone is reviewing it, and if it has been reviewed, just click on preview and then you can post it. Means this has been reviewed by someone from the higher committee. I don't know, but this is not working for me today. I don't know what happened. Preview, submit. Yeah, so preview, we'll select the option as preview. This request ID is we need to check if it is working. Sorry. Yeah, here I'll go to my schedule processes. For each transaction, and when we are working with assets, each transaction, a process is run in parallel by the system, and once that processing is completed, then only we can post the changes. So see, this is succeeded now. If I now go to assets, and now in my task list, if I go to impair assets, sorry, I'll select my book, search. So this is impaired. Now you see this post option is available because impairment status has come as previewed now. Click on post. So what will happen? My asset, which was of value, I think 10 lakh, will now be only valued as 1 lakh, and the whole 14916666 amount is now impaired, and it will be, see now if we go to this asset, let's go to this asset. If you want, now you can just, I'll come back to this page again, just a second. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So in the asset inquiry, now if you see this asset, this asset will be impaired. My asset number was 112644. See, the net book value is now only remaining as 1 lakh, and however the cost was 15 lakh. So if I move to transaction, you can see this has been, we have used this for reinstatement also. If you see this transaction below, impairment on 28th Feb, this is impaired, and then impairment loss is this much. What was my net book value before impairment? This was 14,91,000 something. So this is how we can impair any asset as per the information that we get. Now, if by mistake I have impaired any asset, I can go here, or maybe in the next day I realize that no, my asset is not impaired and I have to revoke the section. I can just click on roll back. So once I roll back, all the things that I have performed with this asset as impairment will be rolled back. So if I now move to inquire asset, search, okay, I provide the asset number. See, now my impairment loss has been removed and my cost is again 15 lakh. So this way we can revoke the impairment if by mistake we have done that. So this is about the impairment. We have used the retirement and impairment with the same asset, as my system was not allowing to use me another one. Okay, now revaluation we'll see quickly, and transfer asset we'll see tomorrow. I'll cover revaluation part and transfer, or we can see the revaluation part only. Use revaluations to record assets in your asset book at their fair value. You can revalue assets to increase or decrease their carrying value whenever there is a change in the fair market value of the asset. Normally, we perform revaluation of the asset with sufficient regularity to ensure that the carrying amount does not differ materiality from its fair value on the balance sheet date. Means my carrying amount is say 100 and my um, fair market value is say 1 lakh, so sorry, 10,000, then there is a huge difference. So to maintain a parity between both of them, then there is a not material difference between both values, we perform revaluation. Revaluation can be due to too much depreciation applied to any asset, and it can be different from the planned depreciation, in which the recorded decline in the value of the asset is tied to its use in its business activities and age. After revaluation, assets are carried in the books at their fair values as of the date of revaluation minus any subsequent accumulated depreciation or accumulate impairment losses. We'll quickly go in the system and see how revaluation can be performed. So we have seen in the asset books, we have already enabled the rules of the revaluation. Here there is a task of revalue asset. We'll click on this. So when we'll click on add icon, it will create the rules for my book US Corp. Okay, it will open a page where we need to provide the revaluation criterias. So now here transaction group I'll give as demo. Method is cost or NBV, net book value or cost. So I'll take as cost. Okay. And comments I can add, transaction date I can add. Transaction date, it is defaulting as the Feb 28. Now if you want to change, you can select the date on which you are performing the revaluation. You can provide, if it is for various assets, you can provide from or to numbers. I'll perform it for one of the asset, let's say 112597. 112597. Okay, you can provide the other details. The value type and percentage, if I'm taking the value type as amount in fair value, percent in fair value, price index. Based on these parameters, I can perform the revaluation. So if you provide amount value type, then what all details you need to add, you need to provide here. Amount in fair value, then you need to use that. Okay, fair value means what will be your rule according to which you are performing this. So I'll take percent and I'll provide 2%. Means my asset will be revalued by 2%. If you want to include your current period's depreciation and you want to revalue full reserved asset, you can click on these options. I'll click on submit here. Search. So this is my demo. Posting status is new. Edit. Let me take NBV only here. Okay, now if I save and close, search, click on prepare. See the posting status in progress. Now this file will be open. Okay, let me close this one. Enable editing. Provide the credentials. Sign in. Change the posting status here as post. So you can see the details here, the percent value. You can provide either the amount, fair value, or the percentage. Check the details. These are the information that has been provided, the revaluation gain or loss that is happening, and all the details as prepared by the system. Just click on submit. Okay, so this is added successfully. The process is submitted. Go to the instance for this asset. Vehicle standard, the number was 112597. Inquire assets. See, if I scroll little down, transactions, you can see this is now revalued. So before the cost was 1378847.94, and now the asset cost is changed by revaluation done. So this is how, based on the requirement, we can perform the revaluations. Okay, before ending this session, let's understand what is the transfer of asset. So transfer of asset means that when you can transfer an asset between its employee, you can change the depreciation expense account or the location of any asset. Say I have a asset and now it is moved to some other place, so to some other location, then we can transfer the asset. This transfer can be done manually, or this can be done through spreadsheet. And say I have a laptop which I am using, and then a different employee is using after me that asset, so it is registered in my name, and then if I am shifting or I am transferring that asset from employee 1 to employee 2, I can do this through the process called transfer asset. You can change the transfer date to a date in the prior period for a particular transfer, but the transfer must occur within the current fiscal year. You can change the transfer date of an asset to a prior period only once per asset. Only once you can do that. But you cannot transfer the asset to a future period. You cannot transfer asset from one corporate book to another corporate book. The corporate book should be same. You can transfer them only between the employee. You can change the depreciation expense account and the location. So we can see how transfer is done. So these are two tasks, transfer assets and transfer assets in spreadsheet. So if I click on transfer assets, US Corps, we'll provide some asset number. So this was a vehicle asset which we have just now revalued. We'll use this one, 112597. So this is a vehicle which is there, Ford F150 lighting. I'll transfer the asset. Click on transfer asset. So there are 13 units. So if you click on add here, and if you want to move it to some other place, in USA. Say I am moving 5 units to some other place and 8 units are still in USA, California, Atlanta office, and now 5 units I am moving to some other place. So how will I do that? You can shift it on employee basis, but no employee details are there. So I will have the same depreciation account. Okay, location I will change. So within USA, let's see what all location are available. I'll move these 5 assets to some other location. Transfer asset using the spreadsheet we will see in tomorrow's session. Only this part we will be covering today, and then we'll wind up the session. Because the instance is working too slow. Let me refresh this page. See, my line of business is different there. Okay, I have changed the account combination, means based on my line of business, and the location I am changing to, say, USA, Texas, and manufacturing. Means now these 5 assets are no longer used in California, Atlanta office. Now they are being used in Texas, Houston, manufacturing. Okay, I'll submit this. So once I have submitted this, I'll click on done. And now I'll go to inquire assets. Asset number is 112597. Search. So if you scroll down transactions, you can see that 5 units are now in USA, Texas, Houston manufacturing, and 8 units are now located to US, California, Atlanta office. So they are there only. 5 are now moved to this one. So this way we can perform the transfer of the location. I'll click on done, and one task is remaining, that is transfer asset in spreadsheet from today's session that we will be covering in tomorrow's session, and then we will be moving further. So hope you have understood the concept of revaluation, impairment, transfer, and retirement, and the mass copy, Whatif analysis, and how we perform the depreciation. And once we have performed the depreciation, the period is closed. So this was all for the day. I hope you have understood the concepts. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone.